the cranberry juice soaked into my cream-colored dress like blood on silk. "Now you look as cheap as you really are," my 17-year-old niece sneered, clutching her glass like a weapon. Silence fell across the private dining room of the most exclusive restaurant in Asheville, North Carolina. My friends stared in horror. And my mother? She patted my niece's hand and smiled. That's when something inside me snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the drink back. I just looked at her and I smiled. Because I knew what I was about to do would change everything. If you've ever been betrayed by your own family, stay with me. And if you're from North Carolina or have a toxic relative of your own, drop your city in the comments and hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to see how this ends. My name is Eliza Hart. I'm 40 years old, and for the past 20 years, I've been my family's unpaid bank, therapist, and scapegoat. I built my career from nothing, climbing from an unpaid intern at a Charleston agency to regional creative director for a major ad firm. My condo overlooks the Blue Ridge Mountains. My car is a graphite Tesla. My wardrobe, my life, it's all been earned. But none of that ever mattered to my family. My older sister, Darla, got pregnant at 19. She dropped out of college, bounced from boyfriend to boyfriend, and raised her daughter, Kaylee, on handouts and drama. And when money ran out, guess who they called? "Lisa, can you help us just this once? Kaylee needs new shoes for drill team. We're going to get evicted." So I paid. Quietly, consistently, every month. 5 years ago, I added Darla to my emergency credit card. That was my first mistake. What was supposed to be for rent and food became her personal playground. Designer bags, massages, even concert tickets. When Kaylee turned 16, I gave her a car, a silver Toyota Corolla in my name for school and work. They took everything. And then, on my 40th birthday, they gave me something back, a reason to burn it all down. I spent 3 months planning the night. I made a reservation at CeeLo, Asheville's hardest-to-book restaurant. It's the kind of place where the wait list is 6 weeks minimum, and the wine list has its own hardcover binder. I invited my closest friends, Vanessa from college, Malik from work, Danny and her wife, Jules. These were people who saw me, respected me. Still, I invited my mother, my sister Darla, and Kaylee. Because no matter how many times they humiliated me, part of me still wanted them to be proud. Still hoped they'd finally say, "We're sorry. You did good, Eliza." Instead, I got cranberry juice to the chest. The dress I wore that night was a Stella McCartney piece I had hunted down from a boutique in Charleston, a limited run, cream silk with delicate beading around the neckline. It cost me $3,200. I told myself it was a gift to honor the girl who clawed her way out of a one-bedroom apartment in Greer, South Carolina. I looked in the mirror that night and thought, "You did it. You are enough." I should have known better. They arrived 40 minutes late. My mother, Evelyn, wore her signature scowl. Darla had on one of those fake designer bags she probably charged to my card. Kaylee came dressed like she was heading to a nightclub, heels too high, skirt too short, attitude sky high. They barely said hello. While my friends chatted about trips and art and life, my family sulked. When Malik asked Kaylee if she was planning to go to college, she said, "Some of us can't live in dreamland. Some of us have real responsibilities." Then came the toast. Vanessa stood and said, "To Eliza, proof that kindness and grit can build empires." Everyone clapped, except for my family. Darla raised her glass just enough to say, "To my baby sister, always reaching for the stars while the rest of us are stuck on the ground." Kaylee didn't even look up from her phone. Then dessert arrived. A handcrafted chocolate sphere melted open by hot caramel sauce poured tableside, drama on a plate. Everyone oohed. I smiled. For 2 seconds, I felt like the main character in my own life. That's when Kaylee stood up, cranberry mocktail in hand. "You want to know what I think of all this?" she said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. And before anyone could move, she tossed the entire glass at me. Cold red liquid splashed across my dress, my chest, my face. Gasps echoed. My friends stood. Waiters froze. Then Kaylee smiled, that cruel little smile I'll never forget. "Now you look as cheap as you really are." And my mother. She reached over and patted her hand. "I think we should go," Evelyn said like I was the one causing a scene. Darla didn't even meet my eyes as they walked out. I sat in silence, soaked and shaking, while my friends gathered around me. Danny whispered, "Do you want me to handle this?" But I shook my head. "No. I've got it." Because at that moment, a different kind of clarity settled into my bones. This wasn't pain. This was permission. Want to know what happened the next morning at 7:50 a.m. when Kaylee discovered her car was gone? And the moment Darla's credit card got declined for the first time in 5 years. Keep watching. And hit that like if you've ever had to teach family the hard way. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was crying or hurt, but because I was finally awake. Years of emotional blackmail, guilt, and backhanded insults had led to this moment. They soaked me in cranberry and shame in front of my chosen family. So I poured a glass of wine, changed out of my ruined dress, and opened my laptop. Time to balance the books. I started with the credit card. I logged in and scrolled through the last 5 years of charges under Darla's name. Nail salons, spas, online boutiques. $87 for emergency groceries at Whole Foods. $260 for a job interview dress from Nordstrom. During a month she hadn't even applied for work. I hit Remove Authorized User. Done. Next, the car. The silver Corolla was registered in my name. I paid the insurance, the gas stipend, the repairs, the monthly toll pass. I even bought the tires after Kaylee curb-checked the old ones. I called my friend Ian, a lawyer. "Eliza, I saw the photos on Instagram. That was savage," he said. "You okay?" "I will be, but I need to take back my car." "Then do it. Legally, it's yours. She has no claim." Perfect. I scheduled a tow for the next morning, 7:30 a.m., while Kaylee would be at early drill team practice. I gave the company a copy of the title, registration, and a letter authorizing the retrieval. Then I logged into my bank and ended every auto transfer going to Darla's account. No more rent, no more groceries, no more anything. At 7:50 a.m. the next day, my phone rang. Kaylee's voice came through high and sharp. "Aunt Eliza, my car's gone. Someone stole it from the school." I sipped my coffee. "It wasn't stolen, Kaylee. I had it towed. It's my car. Legally, always has been." "What the hell? You can't just take it." "How am I supposed to get to school? To dance practice?" "That's not my responsibility anymore." "Is this because of a dress? You're seriously this petty?" "No, I'm this clear. You destroyed more than a dress last night. You showed me exactly who you are." She hung up on me. 5 minutes later, Darla called. "What the hell is wrong with you?" "My card got declined buying gas." I stayed calm. "That's because I canceled it." "You ungrateful little, after everything I've done for you." "Oh, please enlighten me. What have you done for me, Darla?" "Besides treat me like your ATM with a pulse." Silence. Then the threats began. "You'll regret this. I'll tell Mom. We'll take you to court. You're heartless. This is elder abuse." "Darla," I said, "you're 3 years older than me." She screamed and hung up. An hour later, my mother called. "Eliza, I just got off the phone with Darla. She said you're taking away the car and shutting off her credit card. That's unbelievable. She's your sister." "Yes, and Kaylee is the one who poured a drink on me." "She's 17, Eliza." "A child, children make mistakes." 17 is old enough to understand respect. She humiliated me, and you comforted her. Because she was upset, she didn't mean it. She filmed it, Mom. She posted it online with a caption that said cheap auntie got what she deserved. And you liked it. Dead silence. I didn't see the full caption," my mother muttered. "Stop, just stop. I'm done being your scapegoat. I'm done funding people who mock me. If you want to talk face to face, be at my place at 3 p.m. Why? Because I'm showing you the cost of betrayal." At 3 p.m. sharp, they arrived. Darla storming in like she owned the place. Kaylee, pouty and furious. Evelyn trailing behind, already looking like the victim. I sat them at my dining table. On it, printed bank statements, credit card bills, screenshots of Instagram captions, the car's title. "This," I said, "is the last 5 years of my life." Kaylee scowled. "You're seriously going to throw all this in our faces?" "I'm going to clarify a few things," I said. "The car is mine, the card is mine. The college fund is a trust in your name, Kaylee, but it will only be released if you enroll and attend college." "That's blackmail." "No, sweetheart. That's accountability." Darla tried to throw in one last guilt trip. "We're family, Eliza. You don't cut off family." I looked her dead in the eye. "You don't betray family either." The three of them sat in silence as I pushed the folders toward the center of the table. "Over $72,000, I said. "That's how much I've spent on you in the last 5 years. Rent, groceries, clothes, car maintenance, tuition plans, gas money, credit card debt." All of it documented. Darla opened her mouth, but I didn't let her speak. That doesn't include emotional labor, like the nights I sat up helping Kaylee rewrite essays she never submitted. Or covering for you, Darla, when Mom called crying after your boyfriend trashed her guest room. Kaylee crossed her arms. So what, you want us to bow and kiss your feet? No, I said calmly. I want you to leave my home and not contact me again unless it's to take responsibility. My mother finally spoke up. Eliza, honey, don't you think this is a bit much? I turned to her slowly. Do you remember when I got promoted to regional director and you said, just don't let it go to your head? She looked away. Do you remember when I told you I bought my condo and you asked if it was lonely living alone? Still silence. Or when you hugged Kaylee after she dumped a drink on me and called me cheap in public? Now her eyes were glassy. I never meant to hurt you, she whispered. But you did, repeatedly. Darla snapped. You always think you're better than us. Just because you went to college, got a fancy job, and don't have kids doesn't mean you're superior. I don't think I'm superior, I replied. I just think I'm done being used. Kaylee stood. You can't do this, you owe us. Owe you what? I said. A car, a lifestyle, a dress. No, everything. You wouldn't even have all this if it weren't for us pushing you to do better. I actually laughed. Is that how you justify it? You think your neglect and jealousy were motivation? She said nothing. I walked to my door and opened it. We're done here. They didn't move, so I stepped aside and looked Darla in the eye. You're smart enough to know this isn't just about the dress. This is about years of disrespect. I'm not your piggy bank anymore. Kaylee scoffed and stormed out first. Darla lingered. For once, she looked lost. I don't know how I'm going to pay rent next month, she muttered. You'll figure it out, I said. Like I did 20 years ago without anyone's help. Finally, Evelyn stood too. You've changed, she said quietly. I hope so. Then I closed the door. And for the first time in my adult life, it felt like it locked behind me both literally and emotionally. Later that week, a twist came I never saw coming. A week after our showdown, I got a handwritten envelope in my mailbox. Inside was a card that said, I got a job at the mall, saving up for my own car. I'll pay you back eventually. You were right. It was signed, Kaylee. Folded inside the note. 2 crumpled $20 bills. $40 won't buy a car, but that moment, that was priceless. It meant maybe, just maybe. She was starting to understand. I expected silence. But silence doesn't last forever, not in families like mine. After our confrontation, there was radio static for 2 full months. No texts, no birthday calls, not even passive-aggressive memes from Darla. And then the shift began. It started with Kaylee. Her job at the mall turned into something real, part-time cashier at a department store. Not glamorous, but honest. I didn't respond to her first few updates. I wanted to be sure she wasn't angling for sympathy or favors. But she kept sending progress texts anyway. Bought my own phone case today. Walked to work in the rain, still made it on time. And then the one that cracked me open. I'm sorry, really, I think about that night a lot. That night, the dress, the drink, the look on her face when she realized I wasn't going to beg for an apology. I replied, I appreciate that, proud of your hustle. Keep going. A week later, she sent another $20. Gas money, she wrote. Figured you probably covered way more. She was right. But I didn't say that. Instead, I wrote, this isn't about the money. It's about showing up. Darla took longer. 3 months after the confrontation, she messaged me, you win. I got a second job, not asking for help, just letting you know. 2 sentences, no emojis, no blame. I stared at it for a while before replying, I don't want to win, I want us both to grow. And then, nothing for a month until she called. Eliza, she said, I'm in night classes, accounting. Who'd have thought, right? I laughed. You've always been good at numbers. Just not tracking them, she chuckled. Touché. But the biggest shock came from Evelyn, my mother. The woman who had spent my entire life dismissing my milestones and propping up Darla's failures. We started with small phone calls. Polite updates, surface stuff. Then one Sunday she invited me over. I'm cooking, she said, just come. And when I arrived, she had made all my childhood favorites, chicken and dumplings, buttermilk biscuits, that ugly, delicious pistachio fluff salad I used to love. At the dinner table, she stood awkwardly and raised a glass of sweet tea. To my daughter Eliza, she said, who set the boundaries none of us were brave enough to name. You didn't abandon us. You showed us the way. And just like that, my hands shook. I wasn't waiting for the words anymore. I wasn't desperate to be seen, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't need them, just once. 6 months after the cranberry dress disaster, we sat at that same dinner table as a family. Not perfect. Not healed, but trying. Darla had a new office job. Kaylee was filling out community college applications, dance program with a business minor. My mother had even started therapy. When dessert came, cheap grocery store cupcakes this time, Kaylee handed me a small wrapped box. Inside was a keychain, silver, engraved with my initials. "Something small," she said, "until I can afford bigger." On the back, it read, "Thank you for letting me fall so I could learn how to stand." It's funny, all my life I thought revenge meant dramatic showdowns, legal threats, slammed doors and canceled cards. And yes, I did all that. But real revenge is living well, while the people who tore you down are forced to watch you rise, and choose whether they'll rise too. A year after the cranberry incident, I threw a different kind of birthday party. No gowns. No five-star menus. No Instagrammable moments. Just a backyard cookout at my new mountain cabin in Boone, North Carolina. I bought it in cash, thanks to all the money I wasn't sending to Darla anymore. I invited only people who made me feel light. Real. Kaylee asked if she could come. I hesitated. Then she texted, "I won't ruin it, I just want to celebrate you." So I said yes. She arrived with a Tupperware dish full of baked mac and cheese. Made it herself. Burned the edges too, but that's the best part. Darla came too, quietly. Brought wine she bought with her own paycheck. No drama, no guilt. Even Evelyn showed up, with a store-bought cake and a card that made me choke up. "You taught me how to love all my daughters equally. I'm sorry it took so long." After the sun dipped behind the trees and the fireflies came out, Kaylee sat beside me near the fire pit. "Can I tell you something?" she asked. I nodded. "I got accepted to Caldwell Community College, starting next fall. I'm using the trust you set up." I smiled. "That's what it was always for." She paused, then pulled something out of her jacket pocket. It was the beaded crystal neckline from my ruined Stella McCartney dress. "I found this in the trash after that night," she said. "Saved it. I was too ashamed to give it back, but now, it feels right." She had it framed. The crystal band sat inside a shadow box, next to a photo of me from my birthday dinner before the drink. Still smiling, still radiant. Underneath it, she'd written, "From destruction comes clarity. From clarity comes growth." I didn't say anything for a long time. Just pulled her into a hug and let myself cry, not from pain this time, but peace. That night, as the fire cracked and laughter filled the air, I realized something important. I hadn't lost my family. I had finally found them, beneath the guilt, the excuses, and the bitterness, once they were stripped of the easy access to my wallet and forced to find their own footing. And I found myself too. Not in the silk or the status, but in the power of a single, quiet word. No. If you've ever had to walk away to protect yourself, if you've ever been the giver, the forgiver, the one holding everything together, drop your city in the comments. Tell me how you found your peace. And if this story moved you, like and subscribe for more real, raw tales of transformation and revenge. Because sometimes the best revenge is never needing revenge again.